Welcome to another project. In this project, we are going to create a testimonial slider. As you can see from the final version of the project, we have a testimonial box, and also we have an image which is being positioned at the top center of the box, and also is styled to be circle. Also, we have a code here and with author name. We're going to create and generate these codes using an AI code generator. And also we're going to get these profile images from Unsplash websites. Furthermore, we're going to change these images and codes, for example, every 10 seconds using JavaScript. So see you in the next section for the HTML part of our project. All right, let's start our project. First, we open the Visual Studio Code. Here we close the Get Started tab, and in the File menu, we click on Open Folder. I would like to create the project in my desktop, but you can create it anywhere you like in your computer. So we click on Desktop. Here we click on the New Folder button to create a new folder. We name the folder Testimonial Slider, and we press Enter. Here we click on Select Folder to select the folder, and we close the Get Started tab again, and on the left side in the Explorer section we create an HTML file. We right click, we click on New File, and we name the file index.html, and we press Enter. Now on the right side we have our index.html file, which is completely empty, but we can use an exclamation mark to have an HTML5 boilerplate. So we write an exclamation mark and we click on the first auto suggestion. As you can see, now we have an HTML5 boilerplate, and the first line is the doc type, which tells the browser which version of HTML the page is written in. And in our case, which we are using HTML5 for our project, we just need to have HTML in here. Then we have an HTML tag, which covers the header and the body tag. The lang attribute here sets the language of the page, and in our case, we set the language to be English. Then we have the head tag, which covers the meta tags and the title tag. The charted attribute defines the HTML5 character encoding, and UTF-8 is actually recommended by HTML5 for web developers because it nearly contains all the characters and symbols. And the user that is seeing our page or website won't have any problem seeing the characters and symbols of our page. Then we have a meta tag that tells the Internet Explorer browser to use the most recent rendering engine, which is Edge. Then we have here the viewport meta tag, which tells the browser on how to resize the page. Let's use Alt-C to turn on the word wrap so we can see all the code. As you can see, now we have a content attribute which tells the browser to set the width of the page to the device's screen. As you may know, the width of the mobile screen is smaller than the computer screen, so we're not gonna have problem seeing our website with different width and screen size. Then we have initial scale of the page, which is the initial zoom level of the page. And in our case, it's 100%. Then we have the title tag. The title tag sets the title of the page. We can see the title tag in the browser right now. In order to see the browser inside the Visual Studio Code, we can use the Live Preview extension, which we have installed previously. So we right click here and we click on Live Preview, Show Preview. Now on the right side, we see our browser, which is completely empty, but with the title document. We can change the document here. Let's close this Explorer section so we have more space inside the index.html and also the browser. And let's change the title to be Testimonial Slider, which is the name of our project. And we can see a testimonial slider in the tab inside the browser. Then in the body section, let's add a container which has the testimonial inside it. So we call it testimonial We can call it testimonial actually container. So now we created a div with a class of testimonial container, and inside this div, we add an image tag, so we can have a profile image. In order to have a profile image, we can use a website called Unsplash. So we go to the desktop and we click on Google Chrome and we search here for Unsplash. And in the search results, we click on unsplash.com. Here in the search bar, we search for example, user. And here we see some profile pictures. For example, this man, we click on that. In order to get the URL of the image, we just need to right click and we click on copy image address. We go back to our browser, to our Visual Studio Code, and inside the src attribute, which defines the destination of the link, we paste our image link. You can see it on the browser. And in the alt section, we just write user image. All right. After the image, we have a paragraph which covers the testimonial text, and we just add a class of text here. In order to have some testimonial, like fake testimonial from the internet, we can search for a website inside the browser called, I think, a testimonial generator. In the search result, the first result in the Google search result is testimonial-generator.com. So we click on this, and this is a AI-based generator. So here we just write the name of the service or product we want to create the testimonial. For example, we just say Apple and generate. Yeah, we see the testimonial. This is very short. We can click again to get another one, or click again. I want to get one with 2 line. Yeah, just try another time. Yeah, that's fine. We just copy this text and we go back to the Visual Studio Code and we paste it inside the paragraph tag. If you scroll down in the browser, you can see the testimonial here inside the browser. After this, we add a h4 tag with a class of username to add the name of the person who wrote the testimonial quote. We just need to copy this and we go back to the Visual Studio Code and we paste it here. Yeah. That was it for our HTML part. In the next section, we're going to use CSS to style our testimonial box and the slider. And after that, we're going to use JavaScript to actually automatically change the testimonial slider every 10 seconds. So see you in the next section. All right, in the last section, we have finished with the HTML part of our project. In this section, we're going to add a CSS to our project and style it so we can have a beautiful testimonial slider. First, we need to create a CSS file. So in the left section, we open the Explorer section using Ctrl-Shift-E, and we right-click here in the Explorer section, and we click on New File. We name the file style.css, and we press Enter. Before styling our project using CSS, we need to add a link to the CSS file within the HTML code. So we go back to the index.html, and just under the title tag, we add a link tag. We just write link, and we click on the third auto suggestion, the one with the CSS. We can close the Explorer section now to have more space for our browser and the code section. Let's save this file using Ctrl-S, and we go to the style.css to start styling our project. First, let's decrease the size of this image so we can easily style the rest of the page. So we target the image from its tag. Now we have an image here, so we can target the tag. We just write img. We change the width to be 100%, sorry, 100 pixels, and height to 100 pixels. So we have a square picture. Now we can easily see our website, all the testimonial and the names section. So we can easily now install our project. So first we start with the body section. First, the first things we need to do to remove the space around the body element using margin 0. As you can see now, we don't have any margin. Then we use display flex to be able to bring the items to the center horizontally. And we just use justify content center to bring the items to the center horizontally. But as we have another div here with the class of testimonial container, and the size of this div is the same size of the body, so we cannot see any change in our browser. So let's install that container. So testimonial container, and we change the width to be, for example, 500 pixels. You can see now. And we change the height to be 300 pixels. So now, and let's change the background color so we can easily see this section. So we change the color to a slate blue, and we just now you can see that this section is exactly in the middle. The same amount of margin is this way and that way. So the next things we want to do to bring this section to the middle vertically by setting the height to be 100% of the viewport height, and we change the align items to be center. Yeah, let's change the font of the website using font family property. We set it to be cursive, so we have more beautiful text. That was it for the body section. Now we can start and continue install our testimonial container. Let's add some box shadow and add some border, rounded border to the container. So we just change the border to be rounded by border radius 10 pixels, and we add some shadow effect to the container using box shadow. The first value in box shadow effect is the position of the horizontal shadow. We set it to be 0. And the second value is the position of the vertical shadow, and we set it to be 4 pixels. You can see it here. This third value is actually the radius of the shadow. So we just set it to be 8 pixels. We can see a little bit of the shade around the box, but this is a little bit dark and doesn't look like a shadow much. We need to decrease the transparency level of the color. We can use RGBA function to set the color. So we just write RGBA. The value is red, green, blue, and alpha. We set 0 for red, green, and blue to achieve the black colors, and we used 0.3 for alpha value, which gives us 30% transparency. We can use Alt-C to turn on the word wrap so we can see all the codes clearly. Yeah. Let's set the min width to be, for example, 300 pixels, so we don't get a smaller size than this one, or just maybe 400. It would be better. Yeah. And the next things I would like to do is to add some margin to the box, padding. So we have some space around the text. So we just say padding, top and bottom padding. We set it to be, for example, 40 pixels. And we set the left and right to be 20 pixels. And let's add some margin, just 5 pixels. When we decrease the size, we still have some margin near for the smaller screen devices. And let's change the color to be white so we can see the text clearly. And the next things I would like to do to bring this image to the center top of the container. So in the image, first we make the image rounded, by using border radius 50%. Then we set the position to be absolute so we can bring it top. But now we need to position this absolute in relative to the testimonial container. So we just change the position of this to be relative. So we want it to be in the middle, in the center. We just set the left to be 50%, but this one brings the edge of the image to the center. As you can see here is the center. We can use the transform property. We use the translate x minus 50% to bring the image to the center horizontally. And let's bring this one to the top. So we set the top to be minus, as you can see, we have the height of the image to be 100 pixels. If we set the top to be minus 50 pixels, which is the half of the image, we bring it exactly in the middle and in the top section. Yeah. Now we have too much height for our container. Let's decrease this one to 200, and let's bring this one a little bit down by changing the padding. This is a top, this is a left and right. So let's increase this one to 70 and decrease the height to 100 pixels. Yeah, this one looks fine. Let's decrease the size of this name. So we target this h4 tag, which has the class of username. So at the bottom, we just add username with a dot, and we change the font size to be 12 pixels. Yeah, let's try 13. And let's change the font width to be a little bit thinner. For example, we choose 100. So that looks good for me. Yeah, that was it for the CSS part of our project. In the next section, we're going to use JavaScript to add functionality to our project. We're going to change the testimonials each, for example, 10 seconds automatically, and we see the next testimonial by as a slider. So see you in the next section. All right, in the last section, we have finished styling our project using CSS. In this section, we're going to add functionality to our project using JavaScript. First, we need to create a JavaScript file. So here, we use Ctrl-Shift-E to open the Explorer section. And here on the left side, in the Explorer section, we right-click and we click on New File. We name the file index.js and we press Enter. Before using JavaScript in our project, we need to add a link to the JavaScript file within the HTML code. First, we close this section, the Explorer section. We don't need it yet. We don't need it anymore. So we close it by dragging this line to the left. We go back to the index.html, and at the end of the body tag, we add a script tag. We just write SC, and we click on the second auto suggestion, the one with the SRC. SRC attribute defines the destination of the link, and as both files, I mean the index.html and index.js are located at the same directory, we just need to write index.js for the URL. Now we can use JavaScript in our project. So we go to index.js, and first we need to create an array including all the testimonials. So we call the array, we just make a constant and we call it testimonials. And we open a array here, and inside array, we create an object. The first one would be the name of the person. So first we need to copy the first one because we have already the information of the first testimonial. So we copy this name. We come here to the index.js and we paste it here. We should put it inside a set of double quote or single quote. We add a comma and we go next. We add the photo URL here. Just say photo URL, which is this one here. We copy this, including the double quote, and we just put it here. We can use Alt-C to turn on the word wrap so we can see all the code. We close this a little bit, and we use comma again, we go to the next line. The next one is the text or the testimonial text. So here we copy the text from here to here and we put it inside a double quote. You just need to bring the text to this and fix it. All right, looks fine. Next, you can go to the next testimonial. We can copy this and we put it here again, but we can change the name and other things. So we go back to the testimonial generator website and we generate more testimonials. We click on generate. Now we have another one. We just copy this. We go back to Visual Studio Code in index.js. In the second one, we paste it inside the text. And for the picture, we just search for more users. We choose the orientation to be a square. So we get a square pictures. So we can choose this one. We right click and copy image address. We go back to the Visual Studio Code and here we replace the photo URL of the previous one. Yeah. And the name also, it was here, we forgot to copy. So we copy the name. We go back to the Visual Studio Code and we paste the name for the second one. So let's do another one. So we copy this again, we paste it just under it. We go to the testimonial generator website, we generate another testimonial. Let's get another big one like this. So we copy this, we go back to the Visual Studio Code and we paste it here. We go to we copy the name as well and we paste it here. And we get another picture, maybe this one. So we right click and click on copy image address and we go back to the Visual Studio Code and we paste it here. I think 3 is enough to see the slider, but you can add any number of testimonials you like. It's up to you. So we already made the array with the 3 objects. So now we create a function to update the testimonials. So we say function update testimonial. So we can get the name. First, we define index. We just say idx index is 0, and we destruct the name photo URL and text. We get it inside a set of curly braces. So we just say name photo URL, and also we get the text. So we equal this to testimonials, the testimonials with the S. Oh, we should add S here because it's more than 1. All right. So we have testimonials and we want the one with the index IDX, which is 0 now. And we want to change the photo, the text, and the name using JavaScript. So we get the 3 of them, the 3 elements, the paragraph, the image tag, and also the h4 tag. So here we can return an element using query selector method. So first element is the image. So it's a image element is equal to document.querySelector. The element we want to get is image. So we write here img. The next one is the text. So just a text element is equal to document.querySelector. The text is a paragraph, but it has a class of text. So we just need to write .text instead of just writing paragraph because it's more specific and it's easier to read later. Next, we have the name. So we call it username element. Just a document.querySelector. So the username has the class of username. So we just write here .username. All right. So in order to change the text or the image, we can use the properties like for changing the image, we just change the src to be this photo URL. For the text element, we just change the inner text to be text, element. Then we have username element dot inner text, which is this one, text. Oh, sorry, this one is text. The username element is name. Yeah. So when we call this function at the top, so we don't see any change because here we have the same information of the first element of the array. But we can increase the number of the IDX, and we just say we use the set timeouts method to call a function when the timer is expired. The set timeout method firstly sets a timer and calls a function. So we just say this is the function that will be triggered when the timer finishes, and the second parameter is the timer in milliseconds. So we just say every, for example, 2000 milliseconds, which is 2 seconds. And the things we want to call is this function. So now you can see here, every 2 seconds, we get a new testimonials. But if you refresh, it comes from the beginning. But when it goes to the end, it stops. But we want this to be reset. So we can add a condition here. We just say if IDX is equal to testimonials.length, which is 3. If the ITX is equal to this one, you just set the ITX to 0 again. So you can see an infinite number of changing inside the testimonial slider. Mostly this is too fast. Mostly they do it 10 seconds. That makes more sense. Yeah, that was it for our project. I hope you enjoyed and learned many things. And see you in the next project.